What's up, guys? And we are live for UFC Moncton. Anthony Smith versus No Time Volkan, and I'm here with my new co-host, MMA Kelton. Shout out to him, and he also has his channel. We actually had a good the fight game, by the way. We had a good podcast, recapping the last card, Khabib versus Connor, and yeah, man. So before we talk about this card, Kelton, what are your thoughts on this card, and how many bets do you have so far?
Yeah, this card's really, really weird, and I'm happy to be here, man. I believe this is my second time on your channel, and I'm super happy to be on here co-hosting the show with you. You have a good audience. I scroll through your comments sometimes. A lot of cool dudes watch your videos, so if all y'all open me, have me with open arms as the new Bro Picks co-host, that's much appreciated. Thank you, guys. You can check out my channel. Me and Justin do the recaps on there. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of other stuff. Like I do round tables with a bunch of guys too. I do solo videos, all kinds of stuff. So check me out for sure. Happy to be here, Justin. This card, it's weird, but the main event's really awesome. And there's some hidden gems in there. I only have 2 bets right now, but I'm looking at a third, maybe even a fourth. But yeah, let's go, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. Call the first fight.
So first fight of the night. We got I don't have the odds pulled up right now. I believe Stevie Ray minus 170, Justin Ayari plus 145. That's about what it is right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 165 plus 145. Yeah, man, this is I took a 1-unit shot on Justin Ayari. The line has since been smashed, but it's just a small 1-unit shot on plus 220. I think it's off. I like the changes that Ayari has made for this camp. For this fight. He's going to be making his debut at 155 pounds, where I think he's got a big size advantage over most people. He's going to be a big dude down there. It's been a while since we see him. The last time we saw him was against Darren Till, and he took some shots there. But hey, dude went 15 minutes with Till. He landed some good shots. He got his ass beat. Don't get me wrong, for sure. And I really don't think that highly of Justin Ayari, but Stevie Ray, he's a guy who makes a lot of mistakes. He drops the ball a lot. I mean, the guy just lost to Cajun Johnson, for crying out loud, and he was a big favorite in that fight. Definitely drops the ball, and I could see him dropping the ball here, man. I think Ayari, he's a Dean Lister brown belt. He's a serious grappler, man. He comes from a family of Olympian wrestlers. I just think, to me, this screams striker versus grappler matchup. I really think it's a coin flip fight, man. I think if it stays in the feet, Stevie's going to knock him out or decision him. But honestly, I think Justin, he's 26. He's at ATT. I think he probably has a higher ceiling than Stevie. We've seen Stevie kind of drop the ball a lot here. Justin's just getting things started. So why not? I'll take 1-unit shot on the younger guy at plus 220. So I'm going to say Justin Ayari eventually finds his way to get it to the mat, and he'll sub Stevie Ray. So I say Justin Ayari, second round rear naked choke.
Yeah, man. So kind of like we were talking off air, this is one of those cards where I do like the card. I'm excited we have UFC back, but there's a lot of close fights in this card. And this fight I've been going back and forth. Initially, I picked Ray. Then I changed my pick to Ayari. Then I went back to Ray. And you know what, man? I'm going to have to go with the dog here, man. Honestly, I just don't trust Stevie Ray anymore. He hasn't looked good lately. Paul Felder knocked him out, and that was a brutal knockout. And then last fight, Cajun hurt him on the feet. I mean, I know Cajun knocked out Arjan and Martinez, but I mean, Cajun's not known to have power, in my opinion. That was kind of a fluke. And I mean, Stevie Ray fights really close. Like all of his fights are close. And I know Justin Ayari's not, going to be a top 15 guy by any means, but he's dropping down division. He's going to be the bigger guy, like you already mentioned. He does have pretty good, stand up. I know he has his, leaves his hands down, but I don't think Stevie Ray's going to hurt him on the feet. I mean, Stevie Ray's not really known for power. And I mean, Darren Till, one of the heaviest hitters at 170 is going to be fighting at 185. He could even get this guy out. So I think, Ayari, I think they're both pretty decent on the feet. I don't know who has the grappling advantage. I mean, I don't know. Stevie Ray doesn't really have any grappling. Ayari definitely has better jiu-jitsu, and Stevie Ray's been tapped out 4 times. So I don't know if it hits the mat, but I think Ayari could definitely win a decision here, either split unanimous. It's a pass for me, but I do think that Ayari's going to get it done. And I wish Jalen Turner would be, fighting Stevie Ray, but obviously, Jalen Turner is we're still recovering from, death right now. So, anyways, yeah, I got Ayari. So, next fight we got Arjan Bhullar versus Marcelo Golm, and this is another fight that it's close, but I gotta go with the dog here, man. I know a lot of people are talking about, well, Timothy Johnson. He's a similar style. He kind of beat him. I mean, did beat him, but I mean, in the clinch and all this. But I mean, the thing with Timothy Johnson is, I mean, he is, obviously he's regressed. He hasn't looked that good lately at all. But I mean, the guy has been in there with some good competition. He's beaten some good guys in Tibur. I mean, he almost beat Volkov, and yeah, he got smoked last fight. But I mean, Arjan Bhullar, I mean, we haven't really seen much of his game really. I mean, he's still new to the UFC, a very good grappler. His striking did look a lot better against Adam. I mean, against Henrique didn't look that good, but I mean, it did look very good against Adam. But that shit he pulled, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a fluke. I just don't think he was ready for that submission. Obviously, Golem is not gonna. I don't think gonna tap him out by any means. But Golm's a way better striker than anyone Arjan's ever fought, in my opinion. And he's a young kid. He's a first round finisher. So obviously, we saw what happened when he made it out of the first round last fight. But I just think Golm's a little more athletic, and the faster guy. He's obviously better on the feet. Arjan could kind of pull him in the clinch. I don't think Arjan gets him down. If he does, obviously he's gonna have the advantage. But it's another fight where I got to go with the dog. I'm not betting it. I know some people that out there that are betting Golem, and obviously people are betting Arjan too. But I'm gonna have to go with Golem. I think Golem's gonna get him out there. I think he's gonna get a second round finish here. And yeah, I got the upset again. What about you?
Yeah, this is a good fight, man. I'm looking forward to this one. I actually think I really think both these guys have a decent future in the UFC. I think they're both pretty athletic guys. Arjan, he's got Olympian wrestling, and that striking is coming on a long way. So I'm pretty high on Arjan. As for Marcelo Golm, he that last fight against Timothy Johnson, he was favored to win that fight, and some people will say he dropped the ball there, but that's just a case of that was like the first legit guy he fought. It was a tough stylistic matchup. It was first L time, lesson learned. I expect to see a better Marcelo Golm here, but on the other side with Arjan Bhullar, oh man, Arjan Bhullar, he cost me huge against Adam, but it was kind of a mistake on my part, and obviously Arjan Bueller's part is I thought he would just wrestle Adam's face off. He thought he would just wrestle Adam's face off, but turns out if you go through Adam, that guy had a bunch of submissions off his back. He's a damn good grappler, and even better off his back. And it was kind of tailor-made for not a fluke, but that low percentage thing to happen. I do think Arjan wins that fight like 8 out of 10 times probably. But this one not so much. Marcelo, I feel like if Arjan were to take him down, and Golem, a lot of people will overlook his takedown defense against Tim Johnson, but it actually didn't look that bad, and I would imagine it's been improved. But if Arjan gets him down, I think it's not going to be good for Golem. I think he's probably going to eat some shots down there. As for the feet, it's probably really close in the feet, in my opinion. I'm not really sure who I lean with there, and I'm looking forward to finding out. I think at the current odds, if underdog in Golem, but as for a pick, I'll say Arjan Bhullar wins by decision here. I'll say 30-27 decision. After this, give Marcelo Golem. He's a young kid. Give him more Christian Columbos. Arjan Bhullar is a guy who can possibly make his way up to the top 15. Whether he beats guys in the top 15, we'll see. But I think he can make his way up there. So I got him by decision over Golem here. So we got one. The next fight is going to be, and I got to pull up the order. My bad. Okay. Don Madge and Tay Edwards. So this line really surprises me. Tay Edwards is a minus 475 favorite. Don Madge plus 380. There's kind of limited tape on Madge out there, but I was kind of impressed with what I've seen for the most part. But I think that I might just be saying that because I had low standards because he's a South African fighter. South African fighters have kind of been, I don't want to say a laughing stock, but Gareth McClellan is probably the best South African fighter of all time, for example. So, and who knows? That might even be Don Madge. I mean, if I watch Don Madge fight, the level and skill between him and like a Gareth McClellan, it's gone up. It's gone up a lot. Don Madge is actually not that bad of a fighter. If he were fighting in the UFC like 5 years ago, he'd be okay. But those guys down there, they're still a little behind. And there's good promotions in South Africa, like the EFC, whatever it's called. They put on entertaining fights, but those guys are simply behind. Tay Edwards, he's early in his career. He's only 6-1. So I would not, advise you to put him in parlays at minus 475 at all. But he probably gets this done. He's probably better everywhere, and he's a good athlete, man. I like this kid Tay Edwards, and if he goes out and smokes Don Madge, I wouldn't be that surprised. So I'll go with him via I'll say a second round TKO. And one more thing that's really weird. If you look at Don Madge's record, all 3 of his losses are against the same guy.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Yeah, so I got Tay Edwards. I thought it'd be lying closer. I mean, I thought I was going to be betting Tay Edwards, but I mean, I'm not this fine at all. It's going to get interesting if he gets out of the first round. He's the first round finisher. He's been smoking guys. But yeah, Don Madge is probably going to be the best fighter ever out of South Africa. I mean, the guy's not bad. He actually has pretty good striking technique. He has a good pressure game. He comes forward. He's a tough guy. But, I mean, like you said, I don't like the fact that he's, lost all 3 of his losses to the one same guy. The guy's some jobber, too, So, Tay Edwards trains MMA Lab. He's a big dude for the division, very explosive. And he's a, D1 wrestler. So, the funny thing is, we haven't really been seeing his grappling or wrestling because his striking's so good. And he has heavy hands. So, I think Tay Edwards is going to be a good prospect. But, I mean, I don't know if he's going to go out there and steamroll Don Madge. So, it's going to get interesting if he gets in that second, third round. But I'm going to go with Tay Edwards. But I don't know if he smokes him in that first round because Don Madge is a tough guy. And Don Madge is pretty good, jiu-jitsu as well. But I think Tay Edwards has the better wrestling, the better grappling. On the feet, I think Tay Edwards is better. But if it turns into a dogfight, it could get interesting. But, yeah, I got Tay Edwards here. And I'm going to have to go with I might have to go with the decision, man. I know a lot of people are probably not thinking that, but I think Tay Edwards wins a 29-28. So next fight, we got a fight that I don't think is close, by the way. We got Sarah Cheesecake Moras versus Talita Bernardo. And a lot of people, are saying that, Talita is going to win this fight and all this. And, I don't know, man. In my opinion, I don't think that she's that good at all. And, I know Moras isn't really that good either, but I think it's a good matchup for her, Talita has, pretty good wrestling. She has good jiu-jitsu, but, I mean, that's Cheesecake's game. Cheesecake has very good jiu-jitsu. She tapped out Ashley Evans Smith in the first round. Most of her wins are by sub. On the feet, both these girls aren't good strikers, but, Sarah's a very tough girl. I mean, yeah, she's kind of chubby, she kind of looks like, she doesn't really look like a fighter, but, I mean, she's super tough. And she's been in there with Andrade, didn't get finished. She's never been finished. And she has a lot of heart, man. And, I mean, Lucy, hurt her a couple times, and she just kept on coming. I think it's a bad matchup, honestly, because if Talita tries to take her down, I think she's going to get tapped out. I know Talita's a black belt, but I think Sarah has better jiu-jitsu. I think Sarah has a better gas tank. I think Sarah has better striking. I think Sarah's better everywhere, to be honest. So, obviously, I'm not going to be playing it at the line right now, but I like Sarah in this fight, man. So, I think she's a better fighter. And I think, changing camps, training with Misha Tate, over at Shin Couture is only even better. So, I got to go with the favorite here, Sarah Cheesecake Moras. And, yeah, Cheesecake's one of my favorite nicknames, I'm not going to lie, in the UFC. So give me Cheesecake. What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm 100% with you. I actually really like Sarah Moras here. And look at her Instagram, man. She doesn't look the same as she used to. She's putting on muscle. She looks really good. This camp change is massive for her. I read articles about how she was describing her last camp. It was she didn't use a whole lot of positive words. I'll leave it at that. But she's in a much better place right now, mentally, physically. I expect this to be the best Sarah Moras we've ever seen, man. And yet that is a great nickname, by the way. And the thing with Talita Bernardo, man, so she's 0-2 in the UFC. I believe Moras is, I want to say she's 2-2. Yeah, she's 2-2. Bernardo, her first fight against Marion Renault, I kind of thought that was a little bit of an embarrassing performance. I felt like she kind of gave up there after the first round ended. Gas tank is really, really questionable. Even her jiu-jitsu, I don't think I've ever seen a black belt give up submission. Like, she leaves herself open to submissions. Like, it was ridiculous the amount of stuff Marion Renault almost caught her in. And in my opinion, Sarah Moras, although she's not a black belt like Talita, she's a brown belt, but she's a fucking serious grappler, man. And I wouldn't look too much into the whole black belt versus brown belt thing, because I think Sarah is a much better grappler. And on the feet, Sarah's a lot bigger. I mean, we're talking, I believe, 5'7" versus 5'4". She's a lot bigger. She has a lot more pop behind her punches. On the feet, I think it's Sarah all day. If it's, if it goes into the grappling, Toledo is going to be the one going for takedowns for sure, but I think she's in trouble bringing it there. I think Sarah can reverse her, get on top, reverse her, land a sub. I think it's tough. I like Sarah wherever the fight goes. It sucks she's minus 200. I wish she was more around minus 150, but we'll see. We got a few days left to go. I'll see if that line moves any bit, but I'm pretty certain I might actually end up putting like 3 units on Sarah Moras here. I like her wherever the fight goes. I think she's got the higher ceiling. She's actually has UFC wins and damn good UFC wins and been in there with really good fighters. Toledo Bernardo just got absolutely stomped out by Marion Renault and Irene Aldana. Irene Aldana isn't the worst fighter by any means. She's all right, but I don't know. She got her ass beat in those 2 fights, and I don't think she deserves to be in the UFC, in my opinion. So I like Moras a lot, and I'm probably going to end up betting her, man.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention real quick is that I actually forgot to talk about it. I don't think a lot of people know this. I actually just found this out when I was looking into it. But Cheesecake's beaten Juliana Pena, who's a top 5 girl at bantamweight. I know Juliana Pena's haven't fought in a while because I think she had a kid. But Cheesecake finished her. That was like not in UFC. That was a while back. But I mean, even though that was a long time ago, that's still pretty impressive that she's beaten a high quality opponent like Juliana Pena. So Juliana Pena used to be the.
She did beat Juliana Pena, but Juliana Pena won the rematch on Tough.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, the fact that she has a pretty big win like that, I mean,
for sure.
Toledo's never even going to come close to that. But yeah, anyways, so yeah. Next fight, man. Is it me? My turn or your turn? It's your turn.
We got Calvin Kattar minus 275 taking on Chris Fishgold plus 235. Some money's been coming on Chris Fishgold. He was like plus 300. So actually a lot of movement on the dock there. And I'd say I'd agree with him, man. I'm going to pick Calvin Kattar in this fight. I think he probably is the better overall mixed martial arts fighter. It most likely ends up staying on the feet where he has a big advantage. But I don't know, man. Something's weird about this one. I really feel like Chris Fishgold, he's got a grappling advantage here for sure. I don't think there's anyone out here claiming that Kattar has the better grappling. So really the thing is the biggest X factor in this fight is the weight cut down to 145 for Fishgold. How is that going for him? Because I've heard that at points leading up to it that it wasn't going good, but now he has it figured out. So we'll see. So if I were you and I was thinking about taking a shot on Fishgold, I would wait until to see how he looks at weigh-ins. And who knows, even if he does look terrible and miss weight, those guys who miss weight win fights. So who knows, man? He is going to be a big 145-pounder, and all that extra weight, that might play an advantage to the way he wins this fight. All that size and strength, that plays into grapplers, man. So if he's able to get Calvin Kattar down and kind of beat him up on the feet a little bit, I don't know if he subs him, but I just feel like maybe he can go out there and control him for at least 2 out of the 3 rounds. So I wouldn't recommend parlaying Calvin Kattar at the gigantic price. I gotta say it's another dog or pass situation. I'm probably not going to, but if you are thinking about taking the shot on Fishgold, I'd wait till weigh-ins to see how he looks there. But I guess I'll go with Calvin Kattar. I'll say 29-28 split decision for Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, man, this is a really good fight. Before I started taping this fight, obviously I picked Kattar, but then after watching tape, I mean, dude, Fishgold is a good fighter, and I remember watching this fight a couple years ago against Nick Herrenweb, and Nick was a welterweight on Tough, and Nick had some moments in that fight. It was a close fight, but I mean, Fishgold won the fight as a 5-round fight, and Fishgold's a huge dude. I mean, Fishgold is a lightweight, dropping down the featherweight. He's been in there with welterweights, and he's short, but he's really stocky, really strong, big legs, really good grappling, really good wrestling. 17-1. The guy's been in there. Obviously with a lot of guys in cage fighting warriors. Calvin's fought in the way better competition, but 17-1 is a good record, man. That record's not padded. I think that he's beaten some good guys, but obviously Calvin's beaten the better competition. I think Calvin's a better striker, way more technical. He's definitely better on the feet, but Fishgold's striking looked better his last couple of fights. His last fight for sure, obviously, was against a bum, but not a bum. I mean, the guy he's whatever, but it was the striking looked pretty good. And Fishgold's a maniac, he's a finisher. He likes to come forward, get in your face, and take you down. Obviously, he has a grappling advantage here, but Kattar has very good takedown defense. And we haven't really seen him, on the mat because, he doesn't get taken down that much, really. Did he take down Feely? I don't think so. Right? No.
No, he just beat his ass on the feet for 15 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah, no one saw that coming. I actually picked Feely there just because I didn't really know who Kattar was.
I bet Feely there.
Yeah, I actually picked Burgos versus Kattar too. I mean, dude, that proved me wrong right there because I'm really high in Burgos, and the fact that he went out there and knocked him out in the third round, that was insane. Obviously, Moncton's a top 3 guy in the division, so no shame on that. But yeah, man, a lot of people have been, smacking on Calvin because he's not a finisher, but he went out there and finished Burgos. Fishgold's a very tough guy. I don't know if he's going to finish Fishgold. I think he's going to go to the scorecards, but he keeps on the feet, he's going to win. So I got Calvin. I think he's going to go out there and win a 29-28 unanimous. And, I expect Calvin to go forward and fight a top 10 guy next. So get Calvin in there against Josh Emmett. That'd be a great fight. But, yeah, make no mistake about it. Fishgold's, not a jobber. He's no slouch. He's going to beat a good amount of guys at 145. But so, yeah, I think he's going to look good in this fight, but he's going to take it off. So next fight we got Thibaut Gouti versus Nasrat. And, there's not much we have to say about this. Obviously, Nasrat was one of my most confident picks, and, I wanted to bet him, but, I'm not going to be betting him at minus 1,000. I bet Nasrat last fight against Mark DQC, and, he looked very good that fight. I don't know what it is. Like, a lot of people just don't think he's good because he lost to Marcin Held, but, he's on short notice. And, yeah, Marcin Held's kind of a jobber, but he's a good grappler. And fighting a guy like that on short notice is going to be hard, but, he still dropped him, too. It was a close fight, by the way. I don't think it was 30-27. That was a bullshit scorecards. But anyways, Thibaut Gouti is one of the worst fighters in the division. I don't think he's the worst fighter, but he's not that good. He's 2-3 in my opinion. He did not lose Sage Northcutt. I don't care what anyone says. He beat Sage Northcutt. That was a joke. There's no way Sage won that fight. And Thibaut Gouti, he's a decent striker, but he's chinny. He doesn't have the best takedown defense. I feel like he quits on the ground. He's a tough guy, but he is chinny. And Nasrat's, in my opinion, better everywhere. He's, the better striker, more technical, better grappling, but Nasrat's not going to take him down. I think Nasrat's going to go out there and get a first round finish. But yeah, if it goes in the later rounds, Nasrat, just showed he can win a decision as well. So I got Nasrat, however the fight goes. Easy money at minus 1,000. What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm surprised Thibaut Gouti is still in the UFC at this point. He's been in the UFC for 3 years now. Or no, he got on the Ultimate Fighter in 2015. He took a fight after the Ultimate Fighter, and then they brought him back against Teemu Packalén. But oh man, this guy Thibaut Gouti, you're right. He is super chinny. He has virtually no grappling. I actually picked him as an underdog in the Andrew Holbrook fight. I kind of wished I bet him because it went exactly like I thought he would. Andrew Holbrook might be the only guy in the division more chinny than Thibaut Gouti. But Thibaut Gouti, if anything, he's a decent striker. But I still don't think he's on the level of Nasrat. Nasrat, that last performance against Diakaze, man, talk about a coming out party. The dude's still only 23, 24 years old. He's at TriStar. The world is seriously this dude's oyster right now, and I see a really, really good UFC career ahead of Nasrat, and I would be insanely shocked if he were to go out here and lose to Thibaut Gouti. I think it's probably Nasrat all day long, and I really, like Justin, we all want money on Nasrat here. Unfortunately, that's not an option at the current minus 850, so looking at a couple other lines that are possibilities, fight doesn't go to decision is minus 285, which is still really high, but still honestly might hold some value. The Nasrat in the distance is minus 245, which I kind of like even a little bit better, even only at 40 cents better. But I'm kind of watching those props just to see where they're going to go, because I definitely think Nasrat can go out here and finish a guy who's chinny and a guy who doesn't have very good sub defense. So even if Nasrat hurts him, doesn't knock him out, I honestly think Nasrat has the skills capable to submit this guy who's very susceptible to being submitted. So I'd be careful playing a Nasrat KO prop. I wouldn't get too greedy with it. So Yeah, I'll say Nasrat by finish, probably knockout in the first round. So Nasrat, Haqparast, first round KO. So the next fight, oh, you got to bet on this one, man. I got to let you start with this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, man. So next fight we got Tarzan Sean Strickland versus Nordine Taleb, and at my first play of the night, I got 3.5 units on the underdog. Well, actually, he was the underdog. Now he's the favorite on Sean Strickland, and before I talk about the matchup, I'm going to say that I bet him last fight versus Dos Santos, and yeah, he got caught. He's looking good in that fight. He's winning the fight, and then got I mean, damn, just got dropped with that head kick, and then some heavy shots, and obviously, right, the stoppage was correct. But yeah, man, he got caught. But all of his losses are against top 15 guys. I think so. I think Zaleski's going to be a top 10 guy. Kamaru's a top 5 guy right now, and I think Ponzi's going to be a top 5 guy. And if you watch that fight at Ponzi, I know it was a while ago, but that was a good fight. That was a close fight. That was not 30-27. I know that was in Brazil, but that was a super close fight. Strickland looked really good in that fight. Both those guys were super raw. But anyways, back on the matchup. Strickland's a younger fighter here by a lot. He's like 10 years younger. I don't think he's chinny at all. A lot of people are saying that he's chinny because he got knocked out against the last fight. He's been knocked out once. He showed a very good chin in all of his fights. I don't think he's chinny by any means. He has a good chin. Taleb doesn't like to get hit. Taleb's an old fighter. Taleb, they both have good records, but who's Taleb beaten? Strickland's beaten the better competition. Taleb's beaten, he's knocked out bums. He's knocked out guys that are super chinny, like Eric Silva and Danny Hotshot Roberts. Danny's, I don't know if Danny's a jobber, maybe he's a little as a step above that, but I mean he's not that good, and his chin is horrendous. I mean Mike Perry changed his life in my opinion. But anyway, so on the feet, I think Strickland's the more technical fighter. He's a very good jab, probably the best jab in the division. He fights very long. He does have that, that tall man's defense. He kind of leaves his head up in the air. But Taleb, in my opinion, yeah, he has the more power in this matchup. I don't think Taleb's gonna crack him. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. And Strickland, has very good grappling. He's very underrated too. He took down Court McGee 3 times and he almost choked him out in that fight. And both these guys fight close. Strickland does fight close, but I think this is a good matchup for him to get back in the winning column. I think he can win on the feet, obviously. I think he has the striking advantage. Taleb does have good striking, too. He does have the more power, I think, but I don't think he's going to knock him out. And he gasses, too. Taleb fades every fight. If Taleb doesn't go out there and finish Strickland in the first round, I think, Strickland can definitely win the second and third round. But in my opinion, I think Strickland, like we've been talking back and forth, I think Strickland has to go to his wrestling because I think he has a huge advantage on the mat. I mean, Taleb quits on the ground. You saw the shit that he pulled last fight. I mean, why would you go for that heel hook against a guy like Claudio, who's a very good black belt? He's been tapped out twice, and he's like a fish out of water on the ground. I mean, Oliver Enkamp took this guy down. I mean, come on, man. If Oliver Enkamp can take you down, I mean, what the hell do you think Strickland's going to do? And also, Ponzi took this guy down. I mean, Ponzi's not really known for his his grappling. But yeah, Ponzi's a very good fighter. But anyways, I think Strickland's going to take him down, and I think he's going to tap him out. So my official prediction is Strickland with a third-round submission. And, Taleb's at the end of his career, in my opinion. He has a good record. He's been in some close fights, but, the ceiling's just higher, in my opinion, Strickland. Strickland's a good fighter, man. I mean, I'm going to say this on the show right now. I'm a very, very high on Nico Price. But if Nico Price fought Strickland, I would have no hesitation with betting Sean Strickland. I think Strickland would win that fight. But, yeah, I'm really high on Strickland as well, and I think he's going to go out there and get the submission here. What about you?
Yeah, I think this is a good fight, man. And I like your bet. I like your line for sure, that line on Sean Strickland. And he was even plus 140 at one point. So if any of you guys out there got that for like the 5 minutes, if it was available, congrats to you. But it's a close fight to me, man. I still don't really know what to make of it completely. But one thing about Nordine Taleb, yeah, he is getting up there in age for sure. And I remember before the Eric Silva fight, the narrative on Nordine was so much different. People didn't look nearly as high at Nordine as they did before that Eric Silva fight. They kind of just knew him as that older tri-star guy who's kind of a good striker. And he knocked out Eric Silva, and everyone has been really high on Nordine ever since, especially since the Danny Roberts knockout as well. But I kind of think Nordine really is what we thought he was before. He's kind of an older, decent striker out of TriStar. He's a smart fighter. He's a good striker, but he does have a lot of holes in his grappling. And this is a weird matchup because Sean Strickland, I feel like, he's huge for the division. He has those long limbs. I know he can grapple. I want to say he's a purple belt. I mean, he's a
He's a
good
brown
grappler.
belt. He's a
Brown
brown
belt,
belt.
yeah. Yeah, he's a good grappler for sure. I just don't know I mean, maybe he has the wrestling to get it there, but when I picture this fight, I see it playing out on the feet. And on the feet, I think it's really like razor thin close. I feel like Nordine probably might be a little more technical in some aspects. Sean Strickland might leave himself a little bit open more, especially with that tall man's defense. But Strickland has a really nice jab. I feel like he honestly, if Nordine has lost a step, and that very well could be, he's 37. He just lost his last fight. Sean wins fights. I mean, it could be very well that Sean Strickland goes out there and jabs Nordine, kicks the hell out of Nordine, leg kicks and jabs, man. So yeah, Sean might have an advantage everywhere in this fight, but if it stays standing, it might. I give a slight lean to Nordine, but it's a really tough fight, man. I hope Sean can turn it into a grappling match for his sake, because he probably does have a big advantage there. I know for a fact he's a much better grappler. It's just, can he get it there? Does he even want to get it there? Maybe he wants to go out and prove a point. I'm interested to listen to some of his fight week interviews to see what kind of approach he's taking, but he might be good everywhere, man. Who knows? I like Justin's line, and I'm going to go with Sean Strickland. And I'm actually going to go with Sean Strickland in the same way he is. I'm going to say Sean Strickland wins a third round submission. Nordine kind of fades later, and that could be good for Sean. Sean has third round finishes as well. So, yeah, I'll go with the same thing. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is that he's been training obviously with Quest for a while, and he also cross trains with Kings MMA and Black House. But Marvin Vittori, he's going to be in this corner. It's been one of his main training partners this camp, and I mean, training with a guy like Vittori, he's a big middleweight. I think that's going to be good for him, man. I mean, Taleb's also a big welterweight. I mean, Taleb and Strickland could both fight middleweight right now. I mean, Strickland's fought a middleweight before, but train with the guy with Vittori, very good jiu-jitsu. Vittori's a good striker as well. I think that's only going to be good. But yeah, Taleb trains to try hard. Obviously, everyone knows that. But yeah, I like Strickland, man, and I hope he wins. So yeah, call the next one. I think it's the first fight of the main card.
Yeah, man, we got Alex Garcia minus 185 taking on Court McGee plus 160. This is a weird fight, man. Just to go along with the theme of this card, just being weird in general. So Alex Garcia, I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier. It actually got a lot of attention. That tweet of Alex Garcia's record.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
He's got win loss. So he's due for a W here, which is if you believe in those kind of things, that's not going to be good for Court McGee. But I feel like this is probably the kind of fight he comes out here and gets a knockout over an older fighter. I don't think Court McGee is anywhere near as shot as Mike Pyle was, but stylistically, I mean, Court is a tough guy and he has some wrestling. And if he makes it out of the first round, he might be able to win rounds 2 and 3 over Alex, maybe even get a late finish there. But I don't know. Alex does come out pretty hard in that first round. He's just a constant letdown kind of guy. Like a lot of a couple of those losses, not a lot of people expected him to lose that fight. Like even way back in the day, the Neil Magny fight. I want to say Alex Garcia was like a huge favorite against Magny there. And looking back on it now, it just kind of feels like that's kind of like the fight Neil Magny loses, like the big powerful strikers. But I don't know. Garcia's just a constant ball dropper, and even looking at his career, his UFC wins are Muslim Salikov, Mike Pyle, Mike Swick, Sean Spencer. I mean, it's not the most impressive lineup of guys by any means, and a lot of people will underestimate Court McGee. The guy has a win over the current middleweight champ, Robert Whitaker. A lot of people forget. What a lot of people also don't realize, Court McGee has a winning UFC record, guys. Court McGee wins fights, and that's not even counting the Ultimate Fighter. So he went 3-1 on the Ultimate Fighter. So I'm pretty sure he's something like 10-7 in the UFC if you want to include the Ultimate Fighter. So honestly, man, I feel like this Court McGee's probably a live dog in this fight, and if you're gonna go either way, I'd much rather take a small shot on Court McGee than lay the juice on an untrustworthy guy like Alex Garcia. So my gut and even my brain tell me Alex Garcia first round knockout, but if you were going to put money on this fight, I'd put money on the dog Court McGee. So I'll say Alex Garcia first round knockout, but don't trust him. What about you, Justin?
This is a great fight, man. I've been going back and forth with this fight. Court McGee, I don't think he's done by any means. He's obviously on the decline of his career, but I mean, he's not shot, like Mike Pyle was, like you mentioned. The guy, I mean, had a pretty good fight with Sean Strickland. Strickland won the fight, obviously. But yeah, I mean, Court McGee has good boxing. I mean, the guy was beating Ponzi on the feet until he got caught, and that was the only time he'd ever been finished. I thought he beat Ben Saunders, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if that was a robbery, but I thought he won that fight. But yeah, Court McGee, he has good striking, but he's definitely getting older. He's been around for a long time. I mean, this might be one of his last fights, obviously, but I don't think he's, completely done by any means. But Alex Garcia, he's kind of a jobber, man. I mean, the guy's he's a letdowner. I mean, he should go in there and win these fights, but he doesn't. Strickland finished him late. I don't know, man. He fades a lot. His cardio's not that good. I think we might see a good game plan from him, but I mean, I really think it's going to go two ways. He's going to get a first round finish, or Court McGee's going to finish him late. I don't think this fight's hitting the scorecards, but yeah, I like Alex Garcia getting the win. I think he's going to go out there and get a finish, but I'm not confident by any means because Court McGee's definitely a live dog. So next fight, we got John Villante.
Let me add one more thing. Let me add one more thing, man. Alex Garcia couldn't even knock out Ryan LaFleur in his last fight. Ryan LaFleur has no chin left at this point. Cowboy ruined his life. Tony Martin got his first ever knockout over Ryan LaFleur. And Alex Garcia couldn't even knock him out. Looking back on it, that's just another fight Garcia should have won. And again, this might be another fight he should have won, but he doesn't. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, but you know what else? Like Court, I don't know about USADA, but Court, you should be a lot bigger. Like Court's definitely kind of a small guy now. I don't know. Like he used to fight at middleweight. Garcia is going to have a big size advantage here, I feel like. I mean, I think Garcia could probably take him down, hold him down. I mean, Sean Strickland took him down 3 times, so. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I got Garcia, but Core definitely has a chance. So next fight, another close fight. We got John Villante versus Ed Herman. It's a close fight, but I'm actually not. I was extremely confident to bet him. I'm gonna have him on DraftKings, but I do think John Villante is going to get a first-round knockout here. I know, John Villante is a jobber. The guy has beaten pretty good competition. He's knocked out Corey Anderson. Actually, I bet him there. I think it was no, I had him on DraftKings. I didn't bet back then. But anyways, both these guys, man, are just, they're not durable. I mean, they have chins. They have bad chins. And, I feel like John Villante has more left in the tank. I think Ed Herman, I just don't think he can take a shot anymore. I mean, he died his last couple of fights. I'm sorry, he died 2 fights ago, and then he lost against Stevie Dalloway. I mean, that's just, I don't know, losing against a guy like that. I know Dalloway is pretty good wrestling, but I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like it. And, Ed Herman's kind of been bouncing around divisions. Yeah, he beat Tim Boast, but he was getting destroyed in that fight before that. And, he's been tapped out so many times. He's been knocked out a lot. Villante's been knocked out a good amount as well, but I do think that Villante has a better wrestling here. I don't think his fight's going to hit the mat. I think they're going to bang on the feet. I think Villante has the better striking and the better chin. So I got Villante, but, I mean, he drops the ball a lot. He should have beat Shogun. He didn't beat Shogun. He should have beat Sam Alvey. He didn't beat Sam Alvey. But to be honest, I thought he beat Sam Alvey. I don't think Sam won that fight. But then again, don't let it get in the hands of the judges. I thought John Villante won that fight. Yeah, I do think he did.
What?
That was a close. That was super close, bro. That was close, man.
Oh,
you don't think so?
As day.
I thought John.
No, I remember. Maybe I'll have to rewatch, but I remember that being clear as day, brother.
He did get dropped, but I thought Villante did a little more. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens if they ever rematch. Probably won't rematch, but I just think it's a decent matchup for John Villante. You're fighting the worst guy in the division, in my opinion. You should get this win. I don't think Villante's ever going to be a top 15 guy by any means. But, yeah, I got Villante. What about you?
Oh, man, I am so uninterested in this fight. It's crazy. If these guys weren't 205ers that will most likely go out and slug to the death, I would skip this fight because I don't think either of these – I mean, maybe Gian will just because he's a fun personality, but I don't see either of these guys in the UFC in 2 years. Maybe Gian sticks around if he wins one of his every 3 fights, but I don't know, man. This fight does nothing for me. I guess I understand why Villante is favored. It's because you're right. He does probably have more left in the tank. Believe he's younger. He's taken less damage for sure, but his chin isn't all that great either. And Ed Herman, even at his old age, for sure, he's lost some of his movement, quickness, and whatnot, but he can still crack. He went out there and knocked out Tim Boach, who's known for his legendary chin. I'd say the line, if anything, might be a little bit off. I think Gian should maybe be like a minus 180. So if anything, I would take the shot on the dog here, but it's got to be a pass all day long. If anything, I'd say bet that doesn't go the distance here. Actually, that line's not even that bad. Last time I looked, it was minus 205. It was minus 160, but I like this fight to not go the distance. I think even with Villante, a lot of the times he doesn't swing that much, but I think Ed Herman will bring it out of them. Ed Herman's just a tough dude. I think it's the kind of fight where he's going to bring the best out of Gian, and I think the best of Gian probably beats this version of Ed Herman. If they fought in their prime, I don't know. I think this is a much closer fight if they both fought in their primes, but yeah, Gian's got a little bit more left, so I'll say he wins by first round knockout. Gian Villante. I think he gets it done here. So moving on to the next fight, we got Andre Soukhamthath, minus 220, taking on Jonathan Martinez, plus 180. I didn't look a whole lot into Jonathan Martinez, but from what I did see, he's green. He's green as fuck, man. And he's lucky he got this fight for sure. He's got balls for taking it. But I kind of like Andre Soukhamthath here, and this is one of the few times there's a guy around this line, like in the 200s. While I say there might actually be value on him, I think Andre Soukhamthath should be a little bit higher of a favorite. He's a lot bigger. He's an actual bantamweight. Jonathan Martinez is a flyweight. He's green. Soukhamthath is a slick-ass striker, man. I think you might actually come out here and knock Jonathan Martinez out. Martinez, I'll give him all the props in the world for taking this fight. And Soukhamthath, he's got all kinds of fight IQ problems. So, I mean, me personally, I'm not gonna put my money on the guy. But honestly, out of all the decent-sized favorites on this card, Soukhamthath might be one of my favorite ones, just because he's a lot bigger. He's a better striker, and what will probably be a striking match. But there's any opportunity for Martinez here, it's probably the grappling. I've seen him snatch a couple of nice submissions. So, and Soukhamthath, he's got the fight IQ. So who knows? Maybe Soukhamthath is winning the whole fight and gives up a sub with 1 minute left. But I'm gonna go with Andre, and I'm gonna say Andre gets a second round knockout here over the newcomer. What about you, man?
Yeah, I don't want to pick Andre, but I'm definitely picking Andre here. Martinez, he's like 32 or 33, which is kind of crazy. He's only been training for like 4 years, I'm pretty sure.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what I heard on. No, that's what I heard on the James Lynch show with Adam Martin, I think his name is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 32 or 33. Look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure. I think he's just been training, man, for like 4 years.
It says he's 20. It says he's 24 on Tapology.
Go on Jonathan Martinez UFC. That's what you have to do. That's what I did.
Okay. Talk about the fight though. I'll look it up.
Okay, well, I can't find it right now, but yeah, I looked it up. I saw it earlier, but on the James Lynch, his last, I think it was like a breakdown fight of every fight with Adam. I don't know, Adam something Martin, but they said that in there that he's like 32, 33, and that he's only been training for like 4 years. But anyways, yeah, he's a flyweight. Going to 135. Soukhamthath's gonna be the bigger guy, better striker. Obviously, he has grappling advantage, but I mean, Soukhamthath has pretty good takedown defense. And Soukhamthath, terrible fight IQ, but a tough dude. He hits hard. He dropped Alejandro Perez like 3 times. Should have won that fight, but he messed up. He could have beat O'Malley, but he messed up. But yeah, I think it's a big step up. I got Andre Soukhamthath here, and not much to say about that. Did you find it or no?
No, I can't find it. It's all
right. Well, after we do this, watch the James Lynch thing, and you'll see it on there.
I will.
Okay, but yeah, next fight we got Misha Cirkunov versus Pat Cummings, and yeah, I've been going back and forth in this fight, and I'm happy to say it, but I'm going with the underdog here, Patrick Cummings. I'm not betting him. I'll tell you guys that right now. DraftKings, yeah, I'm probably gonna have him on DraftKings, but this fight could go, I think maybe two ways in my opinion. I think Misha could go out there and get a first round finish, probably by knockout, or if Pat survives that first round, I think he's gonna win the fight. I mean, you saw what he did against John Villante. Yeah, Jan wasn't on the juice back then, but I mean, he survived the first round against Jan. He got his ass hammered, then he wins the fight. He got his ass kicked against John, survives, wins the fight. I mean, this guy's tough. I mean, both these guys have bad chins, but I think Pat has more heart. I mean, if you watch Misha's Cirkunov fight against Clover, he quit on the ground. This guy does not know what to do off his back. He's a fish out of water off his back. He literally had no idea what he was doing. And Glover just, landed some big shots and it was over. So I think Cummings could get takedowns here. I think Misha could get takedowns. But I don't think Misha's the kind of Corey Anderson kind of grappler. And I mean, that was just Corey Anderson, dominated that fight. And, he still didn't quit. I think, Misha would have quit in that fight if he was in that fight. Corey took him down at will. Corey just had a very good pace. And yeah, Corey has a bad chin, but Corey's a good fighter, man. Corey's a top 5 guy. Misha's, he been in there with, Krylov, Ion Kutalaba. He beat those guys, but I mean, Krylov's been finished he's been subbed 100 times. I don't think he's going to go out there and tap out Pat Cummings. I mean, Pat Cummings is a big dude as well. His striking is not good, so that's one thing I'm going to mention. His striking is terrible. It's not good. He's not going to knock out Misha, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did because Misha's chin's not good either. But that being said, I think Misha's either going to get a first-round knockout or he's going to get stopped in the second, third round. I think Pat Cummings could get takedowns, and I think he could, get a TKO on the ground. So I'm going to go with Pat Cummings surviving the first round. One thing I want to mention is Pat Cummings is definitely on the decline. He's definitely at the end of his career. This could be one of his last fights, but I mean, Misha is, definitely, he's a younger fighter, but I mean, he's been knocked out his last 2 fights. So, I mean, Cummings, hasn't been knocked out, I don't think, in a while. Obviously, he's coming off the Corey Anderson domination, but I mean, he showed a heart in that fight. He did not quit, and he has more heart than Misha Cirkunov. That's, in my opinion, he does. And I mean, who has the better chin? I don't know. They both have bad chins, but I think he also has a better gas tank. I think Misha fades too. And we haven't seen Misha pass the first round that much, man. So it's going to get interesting if Misha survives. If Cummings survives that first round. So I'm not confident betting him. If he wins, I'm going to be pissed for not betting him. But, hey, I'll be happy because I'll have my DraftKings. So I got Pat Cummings. I like everything about him. He's a funny guy. He's kind of a goofball, cool mustache. Give me Pat Cummings here all day. What about you?
Man, he's plus 370. Just take a 1-unit shot.
I can't.
I got too many units. I do agree with you that the line is probably really off here. And I like what you said about Misha. He did look a little lost on his back there. And I'm glad people aren't afraid to say that Misha was lost on his back just because he's like a really good grappler. So I kind of figured some people would say, no, he's fine. That was just whatever, make up any kind of excuse for him. But yeah, he has grappling credentials and he's a really good jiu-jitsu guy. But when punches are involved in an actual MMA fight, things tend to change a little bit. And Misha doesn't like to get hit. If you go and watch his fights, that guy does not like to get hit, and he for sure. I don't want to say he lacks it, but he's at a toughness disadvantage here. Pat Cummings is one of the toughest, meanest, just scrappiest dudes out there. And when it comes to the striking, I actually maybe, if anything, would probably say Pat Cummings might even have the better striking. Wow. But I would say Misha has the better chin. If that makes sense. So I feel like if Pat can like maybe use his wrestling in reverse, because I'm sure Misha, I think Misha might go for a takedown at some point here. I think Pat, if he could keep it standing, he could outstrike Misha, but Misha could knock him out. So I don't know. It's just a weird fight. Both these guys are, I don't want to say mirror images of each other, but they have a lot of similarities for sure. Pat's a really good wrestler, whereas Misha's a really good grappler, but if Pat does get him down, he will beat up Misha on the ground. I don't think Misha will be able to threaten a lot off his back, and again, maybe Misha will go out and knock out Pat Cummings. It's just such a weird fight, man. The line's off, but I don't know. I'm not gonna pick Pat Cummings like you though. I feel like most likely, I mean, You mentioned how he subbed Nikita Krylov. He knocked Nikita down before the submission. Misha's working on that striking, and yeah, Pat Cummins. I mean, I say how could you ever trust the guy? But I actually bet him against Jan Blachowicz, which is really weird because the way the fight went down, he got his ass beat there and then survived and put on a hell of a comeback. That was only a small bet for me, but I remember sweating my ass off. But shout out to Patrick Cummins. He is a super tough dude, and I'm gonna root for him to win this fight. But and I'll probably have a little bit of him in DraftKings as well, just like you. But I don't know. Misha knockout first round kind of just seems like the pick to go with here. So I'll go with that, man. And then the who's up for the co-main?
Michael Johnson versus Arjan.
No, me or you?
Oh, you, my bad.
Okay. Yeah, we got Michael Johnson minus 650 taking on Artem the GOAT Lobov plus 475. This is probably a fight that Michael Johnson comes out and wins. He's probably better everywhere. He's a hell of a lot more athletic. Really, the only path I see for Artem is if MJ somehow blows his wad. Artem is the fresher guy, and he knocks out MJ. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could even catch some fluke, knock him out early. Artem, I don't care what anyone says. Artem definitely fluke KO'd Gritzmacher. I still don't know how that happened to that day. I'm guilty of it. I kind of overrated Artem's power, his power from that, and then I kind of underestimated Grit's chin. Grits has a hell of a chin, and Artem doesn't really punch that hard. I still don't know how that happened, but either way, I don't see him catching Michael Johnson early. I think Artem third round KO or bust, in my opinion. It's just a really weird fight how that came together. I will say this: I think it's a more favorable fight than Zubaira Tukhugov. I don't think Zubaira Tukhugov would go out and quit in the third round. I think Michael Johnson, there's a chance. Look at the guy's recent performances. I wouldn't be that surprised. I mean, I would be surprised, but if he went out there and quit in the third round, even against a guy as low level as Artem, with all those recent performances, it just seems like the guy is not into it. He's showing up for paychecks, so I don't know. I wish I could sit here and pick Artem the GOAT Lobov, but I can't do it. Michael Johnson probably comes out and. Yeah, I was pretty high in the doesn't go the distance prop for this fight, but I've kind of changed my mind on that. So I'm going to go with Michael Johnson decision here. Michael Johnson 30-27 decision. What do you got, Justin?
Yeah, I'll keep it short because I mean, it's one of those fights. I mean, it's I got Michael Johnson, man. I got him winning this fight. Things gonna knock Artem out, but Artem, I mean, the line's off for sure. I mean, but Artem has a terrible record. I just think Michael Johnson, is a better striker. I don't think, Arden's going to go out there and take him down. Michael Johnson loses fights if he gets taken down, tapped out. Gaethje broke him. I don't think Arden's going to break him. But, hey, if Michael Johnson, gasses and, he's in the third round, then all you live bettors out there, Sean, put money in Artem because Artem could win. But, yeah, Artem's a tough guy, but I got Michael Johnson. I think he's the better striker. He shouldn't be fighting the 45. He should go back to 55. But, yeah, Johnson's a quitter. I mean, he's definitely such an inconsistent fighter. But I got him winning this fight. If he doesn't win this fight, he should retire, in my opinion. So next fight is the main event. I'm gonna let you call this fight because you let me call the Strickland fight because we both actually have a bet on the same fighter. So you call it off.
Yeah, man, we both got big bets on this fight. We don't just got bets. We went big on this one, and man, rightfully so. We got in early too. He's minus 200 right now. Volkan, no time, Uzdemir, minus 200, taking on Anthony Lionheart Smith, plus 170. And man, it just feels tailor fucking made, doesn't it? Like, we got this guy, Anthony Smith, who's been knocked out a bunch of times. He makes questionable decisions. He leaves himself open. Now he's up a weight class against harder hitters. Now he's up against the number 2 ranked light heavyweight in the world. Arguably, now that Rumble Johnson's out of the sport, maybe the hardest hitter in MMA. Maybe it's pound for pound. Maybe it's him and Derek Lewis 1 and 2. But Volkan is not only does Volkan punch hard, Volkan's creative with his strikes, man. Volkan, even being the number 2 ranked guy in the world, even having a title shot already, only like 4 fights deep into the UFC, I feel like Volkan our boy Volkan is a little underestimated. He's super creative with his strikes. People think he kind of just go in there and he went in there and fluke KO'd two chinny guys, but he showed amazing technique there, man. And a lot of people will give him flack for the OSP fight, saying it sucked and he might not even have won. First of all, it was his UFC debut. Second, it was short notice. And it's a short notice UFC debut against a top 15 guy, and he fucking won the fight against Vince St. Preux in his UFC debut. I've been nothing short of impressed with Volkan Oezdemir. I think he has a bright future. Who knows? He might even be a UFC champion one day when DC and maybe even Jones are out of the sport. Jones up to heavyweight. Who knows? But I see a bright future for Volkan. I think Volkan is the future of the light heavyweight division, along with those guys like Dominic Reyes, the Russians like Ankalaev. I think those guys are Rakic. I think all these guys are the future. I think Volkan's up there with them. And not only stylistically is it a terrible matchup for Anthony Smith because he leaves himself open and he goes into wild sloppy exchanges against a power hitter who's creative. Not only all that, Volkan Oezdemir made the trip out to TriStar for this fight, and he's working with Firas Zahabi. He's I've seen Instagram photos of him reviewing tape of Anthony Smith with Firas Zahabi. So he's got Firas Zahabi, one of the biggest geniuses at MMA, on his side here with the best possible game plan. And then you got Anthony Smith on the other side saying, "Oh, I've never seen Volkan fight. I don't do tape for my fights. I just go on there and do my thing." Well, good fucking luck with that, with the genius Firas Zahabi on the other side. So you got that and the stylistical nightmare. Give me Volkan Oezdemir all day. And not only that, man, it's the resumes. I'm a lot more impressed with knockouts over Jimmy Manuwa and Misha Cirkunov than I am with the old timers, Rashad Evans and Shogun, who basically is just leftovers waiting to be killed by the younger guys at this point. So I'm all in on Volkan here, man. I have 5.1 units at minus 170 to win 3 units. So no time all day long.
Yeah, man. I have 5 units on no time at minus 160. And, before we talk about Volkan, I will say, Smith's only chance to win this fight is if he survives and, gets his fight into the later rounds. But this guy's been knocked out 8 times. I don't think that his chin will be tested early, but I don't think his chin's going to be able to hold up. But, we'll see right out of the gate how his chin holds up because Volkan, the guy, just is crazy. He comes forward. He's a pressure fighter. He's nasty in the clinch. The shots that he lands on you are just – he has dynamite in his hands, man. And Anthony Smith is, a middleweight, like you said, going to 205. But, dude, the guy, he's a good striker. He's historically a slow starter. He hasn't been a slow starter his last 2 fights, but it just screams a terrible matchup. And I actually think Volkan's going to knock him out in a minute, and to be honest. If it goes to the first round, second round, I still think Volkan's going to have the advantage. But, if it goes in the later rounds, obviously Smith will have the advantage. But, Volkan doesn't have to worry about the grappling here. Smith's not going to go out there and take him down. And Smith's a pretty good striker, but Volkan, is a better striker. He hits harder. He has a better chin. And, DC beat him last fight, but DC's the champ right now. What do you think DC would do to, Anthony Smith? But, man, just like I mentioned, one of the big things I saw in this fight is this guy's been knocked out 8 times. And, Volkan hits like a truck. So, give me Volkan all day. I don't like how Anthony Smith said he doesn't even watch tape. Volkan got disrespected by that, man. And Volkan's a big fighter, too. Volkan's a big 205er. The guy used to fight a heavyweight. And the OSP fight, it was on short notice. I think it's on like 4 or 5 days' notice. But Volkan was training for a heavyweight fight. So, I know he gassed a little bit in that fight, but it was on short notice. So I got Volkan here all day. I think it's going to happen. I think Volkan's going to, walk him back to the fence, connect him, or he's going to connect some big shots in the clinch, and I think it's going to be all over. So I got Volkan by a first-round finish. And, Weinhardt, he's been looking good. He's been looking good his last 2 fights, but they're against washed-up bums in Rashad Evans and Shogun. So Volkan would do the same exact thing those guys. Without any hesitation. And to be honest, was Misha never even been knocked out? Like maybe one time before, Volkan knocks him out, but not in UFC. Volkan showed Misha showed a pretty decent chin, I think, before that. And Volkan easily could have changed his life. And the Jimmy fight, like I mentioned, those shots in the clinch were very powerful. So, give me Volkan here all day. I'm very confident in this pick, and yeah, man, let's get it. So those are our predictions. My plays are like I just mentioned. I got the 5 unit play on Volkan at -160. I also have 3.5 units on Strickland at +120. And what about you? Recap your bets real quick before we go.
Yeah. So I have 2 plays right now. I have the big 5.1 units on Volkan at -170 to win 3 units, and then I have 1 unit small shot on Jess and Ayari +220. 2 lines I'm looking at. I'm looking at Nasrat wins in the distance, and I'm also looking at Sarah Moras, and I'm still kind of working out what I want to do on DraftKings, but follow me on Twitter because I usually talk about that stuff there. So yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, so that was the first, show Kelton and, follow Kelton and make Kelton on Twitter. And we'll be back, man. Next week, I'm excited, man, for UFC every weekend. Next week's a good card. A lot of good fights. Couple of big, announcements. Couple of big announcements. Couple of big last-minute changes. Weidman versus Souza. Brand versus Cannonier. But yeah, I like this card. I like, the Cannon card on Saturday. I hope we both cash. And let's get it. We'll be back next week. And later, guys. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, let us know in the comments below who you guys got in every fight. Who do you guys have? What are you guys' bets? And especially who do you guys have in the main event? Because it's no time, baby. No time. All right. Later, guys.
Later, guys.